Hey everyone, it's McLord, and yesterday I played Ancient Gears in this week's Duel Links Grand Prix. It went about as well as you'd expect. So full disclosure, I decided to enter the Duel Links Grand Prix like 1 hour before it started, and I wasn't sure which deck I should be taking, so I asked the people on YouTube which between these 3 decks I should play. The 3 decks that I've chosen were Unchained, probably one of the top dogs of the current beta, no puns intended, Link, a deck that I felt really confident playing, and Ancient Gear, a meme deck that I had briefly playtested on stream just a couple of days ago with pretty decent results. What's that? What's that over there? Is that a monster with 0 attack? I wonder what could possibly happen. Naturally, Ancient Gears won, and I decided to enter the tournament with Ancient Gears, this very deck list that you see before your very eyes. So I knew that I would not be winning the whole thing, or even most of my games, when I decided to register with this deck, but I thought, you know what? It's gonna be pretty fun. In a sea of Star Seraphs and Unchained, and Borrowlings, and Shadows, and Fleur decks, and a lot of Sue ships, surprisingly enough, I decided that I would try and actually put this Ancient Gear list to the test. The problem with Ancient Gear is that it's inherently bricky. There are no one-card starters, like Catapult is pretty good because you get a free castle that you can pop it with, but when you do, it's kind of like diminished value. This isn't the greatest play imaginable, you know? You need to draw it alongside Gear Town or Fortress in order to really get some value. Ancient Gear Wyvern is a pretty strong card, but if you just normal summon it, you end up with a level 4 on your field and nothing else. Anchor Drill is pretty cool. It allows you to access a bunch of rank 8 and rank 4 options, but you need to draw it alongside something else also. And of course, I've decided to make this bricky deck even brickier by adding one Mystical Space Typhoon. It's insane. There were no situations in which I drew this card and thought, yes, this is exactly what I needed. On the other hand, anytime I would open this card and see my otherwise unplayable hand, I just thought, I wish this was literally anything else. So that's the deck that I entered with. My plan was to make Howitzer turn 1 so that my opponent would have trouble removing it, and then close game out with a Chaos Ancient Gear Giant, which I think I summoned once, and it didn't even win me the game. I'm just gonna show you one game from each match so you can get a proper idea of how my tourney run actually went, and learn the very valuable lesson that you shouldn't take Ancient Gear to a tournament ever. My first round opponent was playing Battle Chronicle Dark Magician with like a 29 card deck, and honestly, it wasn't really close at all. Unfortunately for them, I think maybe they were a new player or something, but I decided to register to the tournament, and I hope they had some fun regardless. They're gonna go Dark Magician, set 1 pass, which, cool. Look at this hand, this is the greatest my hand has been this entire tournament run. Open Gear Town and Catapult, like sure I opened the box, but it's not that big an issue because I can still go for Wyvern. Gear Town is going to special a, what I get, I forgot what I ended up getting. I ended up getting a Gear Frame out of my deck and then rank into a Beast Dweller. I'm not sure why I did that, maybe I was like setting up for next turn, you know, the hypothetical next turn, that never was. Then I just summon Anchor Drill, summon Bugs, make them both 8s, and make Dinkyesu. And that's pretty much the end of the game, and the extent to which this deck can be pretty good. This was the best showcase this deck had the entire evening, which is depressing to say. That was a 2-0 victory for me, and only went downhill from there. My second opponent was on Star Seraph, which, not a surprise, I think everyone expected this deck to be the most popular, and it's so powerful that we're maybe in a tier 0 format. I'm thinking of all the Redditors that told me, oh, but no, you got taken out of high potential, which means it's bad. You don't know what you're talking about. This deck is absolutely insane, and here is why. My opponent is just going to activate the scale to set 2 scales from that deck, which pretty strong opener. Because then they can also summon the Sage and immediately make Evil Swarm Ouroboros in order to rip one card out of my hand, and it just had to be the Gear Town, which was kind of depressing, but we make do. I am still going to get my Coolio skill, and of course I top deck the Catapult after I've lost the Gear Town, so that really sucks. I get to summon the Ancient Gear Hunting Ground, and here I get really greedy. You know, I decide, you know what? The only thing I fear is monster effects. I don't fear back row, so I'm just gonna go for Chaos Ancient Gear Giant, which is basically immune to back row. And wowee, that's a big monster, right? They top deck Star Seraph Scepter, get a Sovereignty, which then allows them to use the skill in order to summon the Sovereignty and literally anything else. Because this is what a fair and balanced skill is, after all. And you can pretty much see the writing on the wall from this point forward. I can just go into Deltaros and with the Scepter effect, pop my Chaos Ancient Gear Giant, which is not protected against monster effects whatsoever. And then they also have Monster Reborn, so this is just lethal. I just got owned here. So yeah. I know I was playing a garbage deck, and I got 2-0'd, but Star Seraph is a problem. My third round opponent was on Sharks, which I didn't think was that interesting a deck until I actually saw it in action against me very specifically. So my opponent is just going to look at this MST rotting in my hand, completely useless. That didn't feel good at all. They're gonna activate the scales in order to send right hand and left hand shark to the graveyard, get an Aqua Jet, and then activate both of the shark's effects in order to special summon both of them and make an Abyss Dweller that is going to be protected against battle and card effect destruction, which is actually pretty strong. It would have been stronger if Star Seraph did not exist and Unchained was still like one of the best decks out there. They're going to follow that up by a normal summon of Buzzsaw Shark, which is going to get another right-hand shark out of the deck, which they're going to make a Bahamut Shark, which also, I was thinking, it's not so great, but then the Bahamut Shark is going to detach in order to summon Tri-Age Levia, which is a card that I actually never seen before, and which has a Monster Negate, because they equipped it with the skill, and then they also have one set, which turns out to be pretty consequential, because as the MSC is going to reveal, is just a Forbidden Land. So I'm going to Catapult, destroying my own thing in order to get Ancient Gear Wyvern out of my field. They're going to try to Levia it, but it's fine because I can normal summon the other Wyvern. Maybe that was a mistake, but I don't know, it's not like it would have made a huge difference. And then I can go into Castel, the Sky Blaster Musketeer. Castel is going to shuffle the Dweller back in the deck. I was considering putting Vespernato in lieu of a second Ancient Gear Giant. Maybe I should have done that. Maybe it would have been better, because then I would have been able to float into Wyvern for follow-up. Anyway, they're going to activate the skill in order to get a 3 Brackley Rancer from their nowhere into the field, which they're then going to rank up. No, they're going to rank up the Bahamut Shark into Vespernato. Maybe they could activate the Bahamut Shark effect in order to special something, literally anything else. Anyway, they're going to go into full ammo to pick Lancer from this position, and it's just lethal. It is just lethal here. So yeah, another 2-0 victory for my opponent. That was pretty cool. I can't be mad about that. That was a pretty cool display. They went first both times and did the same thing, and unfortunately Ancient Gears can't play through the simplest disruption. And my last opponent for the evening was also on Star Seraph, which this one's actually a bit heartbreaking. You know, this one is actually kind of painful to watch. So I would advise you to not actually look at this one. I open MST and Gear Town. Wow, that's a pretty cool combo, isn't it? You can just pop your Gear Town with MST in order to basically do the same thing as if you had opened Catapult, but worse. My opponent's just gonna summon Sage and summon Sovereignty. I would guess they were hoping to open literally anything else, but they're just going to get stuck with this because you can't use sovereignty for an Xyz summon except the Xyz summon of a monster that uses 3 or more materials. They're just stuck with this. And I think, wait, I have the fortress that protects my monster against targeting. I have the MST that I can pop the Gear Town with, so I can just, you know, Gear Town for a Wyvern that's going to search me a frame, and then I can normal the Hunting Hound and go for Ancient Gear Chaos Giant, and that's lethal. That is just lethal. I am going to win a game against Star Seraph. But then... so yeah. Born to Ancient Gear Chaos Giant, forced to Ancient Gear Howitzer. And that'll be the end of my turn. Fortunately, for them, they're going to be able to activate the super balanced part of their scale where they just replace bad cards with good cards and get a free rank up spell for no reason. I don't think that part really matters. I've never seen this deck actually use the rank up spell. They're going to go into Abyss Dweller, which will stop the Howitzer effect Engrave, even though it's unaffected because it's no longer on the field. It's like you can't use Howitzer as material for Overload Fusion while it's on the field, but if it's Engrave, then you can. On top of that, they're also going to go for Castel, which doesn't really do much here. They're going to destroy my Howitzer and then attack me directly with the Abyss Dweller. I'm thinking, oh, if I top deck Overload Fusion, it's really good, but I top deck Heavy Forward. So yeah, I got O2'd once again. And I decided, you know what? I don't need to play my 5th round. I'm 1-3. I don't... This can stop right there. So that was miserable. This is completely on me for entering with a Garbo deck, even though I was feeling like, you know, this deck got to Cog twice, according to Dueling Expert, and the 3rd time without the Infinite Track Engine that I think is actually copium and I hate, and I will never play this again. Surely I can win a couple of games with this, right? If someone at the most recent NAWCQ, I think, can go 7-1-1 with Ancient Gear, why can't I? Yeah, it turns out this has a really bad matchup against pretty much anything, and I hate MST. I hate MST so much. But I'm gonna try to enter the Dueling Grand Prix again next week, probably with a more competent deck this time. I'm thinking maybe, you know what, this tournament kind of changed my point of view on the newest mini box. I thought, you know what, Chronomaly stuff is kind of neat. The Shark deck is surprisingly competent. Pacifist is a no-show, but that was expected. And unironically, Earthbound Immortal looks like a really silly kind of fun deck that Quantum Cube's piloted, and that looks very fun to play, so maybe I'll register with one of those. In the meantime, thank you for watching this video, and special thanks to Dingus and the Owdish Boy very specifically for their generous donations. If you've missed the story, my cat recently suffered from a heat stroke, and though she's been taken to the vet and she's okay now, I am looking forward to investing in a lot of fans to cool my place so that despite extreme heats in France right now, my cats don't have to suffer from those anymore. So that's really nice of them to support me in this endeavor. And also, if you're watching this video, feel free to request me playing any deck whatsoever. I'll just do it because I owe you something now. And thank you once again to all of you for pushing me to play this garbage deck in the latest Dueling Grand Prix. This deck is good now. I fixed it. I've made this deck better now. Thank you one last time for watching this video. Make sure to like and comment, and I will see you all next time.